You're watching Sports Today. I am Sushant Mehta. Well, a total experience of 4 tests is all that the Indian bowling attack had before they took on the field for the Brisbane test. And even though they did fairly well, I have to say that Australia seems to be in control after day one. I'm joined by the greatest of all time, live and exclusive with Sunil Gavaskar, straight from Brisbane. We also have our consulting editor, Boria Majumdar. First, it was once again the dropped catches that hurt India most as Australia, particularly Marnus Labuschagne. Labuschagne, remember, was dropped at 37. He capitalized, went on to make a century. The Aussies ended day one of the 4th and final test at 274 for 5.
Mohammad Siraj gave India the perfect start. Australia lost David Warner in the very first over after opting to bat first.
David Warner, just exceptional bowling.
Marcus Harris was next to go with Shardul Thakur striking with his very first delivery of the match.
A square leg, a little bit of shade.
Australia was 17 for 2 when Steve Smith joined Marnus Labuschagne and the duo took the host to lunch without any further damage.
Beautifully clipped off his pads and that'll be a boundary.
Post-lunch, Washington Sundar got the big wicket of Steve Smith. A moment to remember for the debutant.
The massive wicket of Steve Smith. Australia lose their third. Edge dropped.
Labuschagne lived a charmed life and soon brought up his 50, stitching together a century-run stand to bail Australia out of trouble.
That'll be his 50, Marnus Labuschagne. Good single. Rode a little bit of his luck, but in between that he's played some wonderful shots when Australia needed him. He was in early.
Soon Labuschagne upped the scoring rate and got to his 5th test 100.
He's threatened to do it in the last couple of innings, but now he gets to 3 figures. Another test century on his home ground and his 5th ton in 18 test matches.
Against the run of play, Matthew Wade gifted his wicket away to debutant T. Natarajan.
Nearly a collision, but Shardul Thakur hangs on. Oh, another one up in the air.
The speedster then removed a well-set Labuschagne for 108 as Australia lost half their side for 213. In the absence of Jasprit Bumrah and Ravi Ashwin, Indian attack lacked experience with a total of 4 tests between them. Australians capitalized on it time and again with Cameron Green and Tim Paine putting together a useful partnership, which of course was helped by some poor catching.
Oh, was a drop. Sharp chance, was hit hard. That reaction tells you everything.
An unbeaten 61-run stand took Australia to 274 for 5 at stumps on day one.
Finishes with the short ball.
Sports Bureau, India Today.
It's been a very long day for an inexperienced bowling lineup. They've done pretty well, they really have. We've finished on 274 for 5. A couple of chances have gone down.
The great Sunil Gavaskar joining us live from Brisbane, Australia. Sunny bhai, a day of what could have happened, a day of missed opportunities. But do you think this match still hangs in balance?
Yes, but that's what Test cricket is all about. You think that it is going to go in one direction, but it can change very, very swiftly. So that was the kind of day it was. Who would have thought that an Indian team without Bumrah, which is like the linchpin of their bowling, as well as Ashwin, the 2 linchpins of their bowling attack are not playing in the game, that there would be that kind of a response by the completely inexperienced attack. You had 2 debutants who had started the tour as being part of the net bowlers group, and now they played Test cricket for India, and they all did extremely well. And then Shardul Thakur as well, who played a test about a couple of years ago and hardly bowled a dozen balls before he walked away with an injury. He also getting a wicket with the first ball that he bowled. So all in all, for an attack which had between them, I think, 11 or 13 wickets before the first ball of of this test was bowled, they did remarkably well to take the 5 Australian wickets. If they had taken another wicket or 2 with the second new ball, then it would have been totally India's day. But I would think at this moment that it is probably slightly Australia's day because of that 6-wicket partnership between Tim Paine and Cameron Green.
Yes, Anibhai, but you know, as you said, you spoke about the inexperience, and I must admit they have done outstandingly well. But to go with Washington Sundar over Kuldeep Yadav, obviously it could be because India wanted to strengthen their batting as well. But did they miss a trick by not playing a specialist spinner?
I think it was also to strengthen the batting a little bit. With Jadeja being injured, they wanted somebody who could come in and bat at, say, 7. And we all know Washington Sundar can bat. He's got a T20 100 in the Tamil Nadu Premier League. And so we all know that he's a pretty capable batsman. Of course, at the test level, we're not sure how that batting will come through. But yes, I think that was one of the reasons with both Jadeja and Ashwin, who bat at 7 and 8 and give that Indian batting that depth. With both of them not being there, they had no option but to go for Washington Sundar. Also, I think because the Gabba pitch would not have given Kuldeep Yadav the kind of grip and turn that he would have liked. And maybe that's the reason why he was not consistent.
Okay. Boria, catches win matches, and the moment Labuschagne was dropped at 37, my heart just skipped a beat because I knew this was going to be dangerous for India, and then he goes on to make that century. Australia in a commanding position, but we've seen many twists and turns, as Sunny said, in this series. So a new day tomorrow, what are you expecting?
I don't think they are in a commanding position. I absolutely don't, because 2 good balls tomorrow morning and the match is again back on an even keel. I would say they are 60-40 ahead. That's what they are. They will also know that against this Indian bowling attack, which has 4 tests between them, if they are unable to pile on 400, they're a disgrace, Australia. If they don't win this one against India, they will never win against India. So period. And India, the fear has gone. These guys are now playing fearless cricket because there's nothing to fear. And you are absolutely right about Manas Labuschagne. Had that catch been taken and by our best fielder, by Ajinkya Rahane at Gully, he's a champion. So when Ajju dropped that was one of the pivotal moments in the game. 100 and whatever, 5 for 4, 10 for 4, and then that fragile middle order with Labuschagne not there to steer the innings. Things could have been very, very different. Australia really got lucky there, but I'm hoping tomorrow morning with the second new ball, India will get their wickets, because this series has shown us you will never be able to write this Indian team.
Absolutely, and I think if Rahane caught that, if he caught Labuschagne on 37, I think India had a great chance of just wrapping up Australia before 200. Sunny bhai, morning session tomorrow now. India can still wrap up this Australian innings under 350. Do you think so? Then you say there's an inexperienced bowling attack. Can they do this?
Definitely. I think, yes, they can. They can. Of course they can, because they still have the second new ball, which isn't very old. It is still new. And we saw that even when he was 40, 50 years old, Shardul Thakur was getting the ball to curve away quite nicely. And also Natarajan was getting the ball to move both ways quite nicely. So, and Siraj as well. Both, I mean, they all 3 bowled well. But for the unfortunate injury to Navdeep Saini, the pressure could have really been kept on the Australian batsman. But yes, that partnership which is there, that needs to be broken very, very quickly if India are looking to restrict Australia under 350.
Right. So many injuries and just terrible catching, terrible fielding on this tour. It's been a series of dropped catches. Day 1 also of the Brisbane Test was no different when India missed as many as 3 regulation chances that could have put the Aussies on the mat.
As many as possible. This is more catches dropped on the trip. This is from the Indian standpoint. Keep counting. And in whites as well.
That's been the story of this tour of Australia. Dropped catches and then injuries have caused India a great deal of pain on this tour. Manas Labuschagne was on 37 when Saini induced an outside edge, and at gully, his skipper Rahane dropped a simple regulation catch.
That would have really put India in the box seat.
Navdeep, Saini.
The very same delivery happened to be Saini's last of the day as he hobbled back with a groin strain. Labuschagne went on to score 100, but not before he was let off once more, this time by Chiteshwar Pujara.
Dropped again. I think that, I'm not sure if it carried or not all the way to Pujara. Rishabh Pant went for it. I think that was a pretty good effort from Pujara. He nearly hung on to it, but I reckon it's landed just short.
Shardul Thakur had an opportunity to put India further ahead after Natarajan's twin strikes, but he dropped Cameron Green of his own bowling to let Aussies off the hook once again.
Pretty straightforward. Important bowl chance there. Another catch goes down.
Injuries have hurt India badly on this tour, especially in the Test series, but that may not be something that can be controlled. However, catches can be. So many catches have been dropped on this tour that the team would have lost the count by now, but with an inexperienced team like this, such slip-ups can hurt even more. Sports Bureau, India Today.
It's dropped! Went straight to...
Yes, well, Sunny Bhai, once again, so many dropped catches. Dropped Labuschagne twice today, that's criminal. If you see this entire tour, I'm sure Team India would have lost the count of the number of dropped catches.
Well, I think it's not easy because if you have a look at the color of the seats in the Gabba, you will find there are seats which are dark red as well, and that can sort of go with the color of the ball. So sometimes when the ball comes through that dark red seat, you may not be able to see it. I'm not making any excuses. I'm just saying that could possibly happen, particularly when you're closing. But the other thing that I've been observing about the Indian slip fielders is that they stand just that little too deep. They have this sense that their faster bowlers are able to get the nicks which will come above their waists. So that doesn't happen. So often all these half chances or possible chances have come near the bootlaces. And of course, then the way they stand in the slips without bending their backs, I've been saying that for a long, long time. So without bending your backs, if you're even in your early 20s, it is very difficult to go down and take a catch low down near your bootlaces. So if you're in your 30s, that makes it even more difficult. So that is something that the Indian team has to look at, because just about everybody stands with their hands on the knees is fine. But if you bend your back, like Ajinkya Rahane, when he bends his back, if you stand there, you have a good chance to take those low catches. The slip fielders have, after the first session, the slip fielders must, at least the first slip must stand in line with the wicket keeper, not that 2 steps behind, because the ball doesn't carry, even on Australian surface.
Right. Let's give credit where credit is due, because we had such an inexperienced side. Sunny Bhai, I'm going to start with you. Natarajan, what a fantastic story, magical story he's been. From a net bowler, he has gone on to make his debut, firstly in the one-day internationals, then T20s, now finally in the Test too. In fact, he got India back into this match with those 2 wickets back-to-back, and he could have had a third one. He dropped that cotton ball.
Yes, it's a real fairy tale, what Natarajan has done over the last, say, 4 or 5 months. The spells that he bowled in the IPL were the ones that brought him into the recognition for an India T20 cap. And then, of course, the fact that from there, because he bowled so well in the one-day game, he was kept on as a net bowler. Also because Mitchell Starc is a left-hander, so if the Indian batsman wanted a little bit of practice against the left-hand bowling, he was there to provide that. Although, of course, Starc is maybe half a foot taller than him, but still, just to get that angle. So it really is a fairy tale. But when you look at what he has also done for where he comes from after the first IPL contract, and again, over here, let's not forget the keen eye of Virendra Sehwag. Virendra Sehwag was the one who picked him for the Kings 11 for, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. Now, Viru's got one of the sharpest cricketing brains in the country. And it was, you have to give credit to Viru for having spotted him. And though he was not retained, there was something about him that made other franchises take an interest in him and pick him, and look where he is today. But that first contract, when he was signed by Kings 11, he used part of the money to build an academy over there where he comes from. So other bowlers like him, who also can bowl the Yorker deliveries, etc., could get exposure to a cricket ball. And I think all those good wishes from that entire community, from that entire village where he comes from, certainly are helping make this a fantastic fairy tale.
Absolutely. It's been a fairy tale story for Natarajan. Boria Majumdar, as I said, let's give credit where credit is due. This is a very, very inexperienced bowling attack, but they all seem possessed. Siraj, Natarajan, you've got Washington Sundar, everyone, Shardul Thakur, they all picked up wickets.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, if you take out Pujara and Rahane, the next 9, the 9 guys playing have played less test matches than Nathan Lyon alone. So that's what we are talking about.
Yeah.
9 Indian guys except Pujara and Rahane less than Nathan Lyon. And with that attack, the bowling attack has played 4 test matches. 4 test matches, which is less than Cameron Green. So this is quite unbelievable. Unbelievable. I've never seen an Indian attack like this. Having said that, they've still not let Australia run away. So anyone who wears that Indian jersey putting his hand up is the biggest plus from this tour. Sunny Bhai said, Viru, you should also add VVS. Because David Warner confirms this to me, that when they went to Dubai, the Sunrisers team, Nattu wasn't supposed to play. The way he bowled in the practice games, VVS Lakshman and Muthaiya Muralidharan catapulted him into the first team, and the rest is history. Right. So there has been serious contributions, and why not? Terrific.
That is absolutely huge.
Right, Boria Majumdar, Sunil Gavaskar, stay on with me. It's time for a short break now. Lots more coming up on Sports Today. 2 abuses from a section of the crowd in Brisbane during the opening day of the 4th Test match. Siraj was fielding at the boundary, but he was allegedly called bloody grub from a group of people sitting in the stands. Sydney Morning Herald has quoted a spectator saying that Siraj and Washington Sundar were both abused by a group of spectators. Remember, Siraj was subjected to racial abuses during the Sydney Test 2 when he was called a monkey and a brown dog. The spectators were then thrown out of the stadium after the Indian team complained about the issue. Sunny Bhai, reports from Australia say Mohammad Siraj, Washington Sundar were once again subjected to abuses from the crowd. What's wrong with the fans down under? Such high-intensity matches, such a spectacular series, some people are just spoiling the game.
Well, that's sad. Hopefully, that will be looked into by the ground authorities and the action taken against them, because whether it is like I said in a previous talk with you, whether it is racist abuse or plain abuse, that has no place in sport, because if people come to watch, they should just come and watch, and like I said, I either applaud if you like what you're seeing, or maybe boo if you're not liking what you see. But swearing and abusing the players is simply not up.
Right. Sunny Bhai, thank you. We'll join you tomorrow. We are hoping for a smashing comeback by the Indian team on day 2 of this 4th and final test match. Thanks for watching Sports Today. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.